My name's Leo and I'm a boat builder and a sailor, and with a lot of help from my friends, I'm on a mission to rebuild and restore the 112-year-old classic sailing yacht Tally-Ho. Now, in the last video I just got back, it was just me and Patrick here, but now a lot of the rest of the team are back, and this video is going to be all about making and installing the cover boards. Now, the cover boards are the planks or boards which go around the edge of the deck, and they literally cover up the top of the hull planking and the joint between the decks and the outside of the hull. Now, cover boards can be very different on all sorts of different boats, but on this boat they're going to be made out of 2 inches of teak, which is the same thickness as our deck strakes. They're going to be one piece in terms of their width, so they'll be quite wide, and they'll be quite a complex shape because they're going to notch around all the nibs, the ends of all our deck planks. They're also going to have holes in them for our stanchions to run up through, and they're going to be scarfed together end to end. So we're going to be following Pete and Zeal as they make those cover boards. They're going to take one side of the boat each, and the first step of that process is to make really quite a complex pattern. Now, quite a lot of this footage was taken quite a while ago before we all took a break, so you'll see quite a lot of shots which were taken at least a couple of months ago. So I've just finished making the first of 10 coverboard patterns. It's 5 pieces per side. The ones up at the bow are particularly tricky. They notch into the stem. They have the most nibs in them. And in addition to that, for the whole length, all of the covering boards are gonna have our stanchions pierce right through them, like so. I made a full-size pattern, a solid pattern without the stanchions in. And then I took my markings from the deck for the stanchions and marked them on my pattern, and then punched holes through, just cut out oversized square holes. And then I reinserted. I put my stanchions back in place through the pattern, and I was able to take my bevels, and then I'm using a glue tab method here. It'll give me a pretty accurate pattern. I am cutting from the bottom face, so I'll take this pattern and flip it upside down onto my stock, mark all my lines, and cut from there. I'm gonna take this 9-foot long pattern and cut into a very, very expensive piece of teak. We don't have much, if any, room for error here with our stock. Yeah, it's a little nerve-wracking. You take your time and cross all your T's and dot all your lowercase J's. I want to move this over here. I don't understand why it has to be a rope. It's just wood. You know what they say, Zeal, wood don't grow on trees. Shit, and now Al's here too?
Yeah, I want to watch you that up.
Yes, Zeal?
I think you're looking pretty good, buddy.
Hey, thanks, bud.
I think you're a handsome man. You know
okay. No. We'll fix that in post.
I wanted to know what stations that scarf is, so I know where to pattern.
Yeah. It's lined out in tape on the port side there. I think it's So at this stage, Pete has got the first coverboard on the port side fitted, and Zeal has been doing the same process on the first coverboard on the starboard side. Now, when you're fitting a piece like this, you really want to be able to clamp it in position, but that's very hard because with these you're essentially closing off the gap between the deck and the hull of the boat, so there's nothing really you can clamp it to. However, the pieces are going to have holes through them eventually for the bulwark stanchions to pierce through, which will later support the bulwarks. And so what the guys are going to be doing is drilling big holes, round holes, inside the area where the stanchion hole will eventually be, and they're just using those round holes to put clamps through the holes and clamp the coverboards down to the deck beams while they're fitting them. Once they've finished fitting them and the fairing surfaces are all nice and tight, they can then remark the final position for those square stanchion holes, take them off the boat, cut those holes, chisel them out, and then that coverboard is pretty much done. So as you guys know, our team here is constantly changing and evolving. Our good friend Rowan, who has worked here on and off quite a lot over the last few years, he's had to head out. He's gone back to the East Coast where he's from, he's driving across country. But we do have a new member of the crew, and that's George. Here he is.
Hi, my name is George and I'm from Wisconsin. I'm 23 years old. I just finished up school in media studies. I've been woodworking for about 6 years though. I saw this project on YouTube and I was immediately interested, so I got in contact with Leo and came out here a few days ago, and I couldn't be more happy to be a part of it. I am sanding these bed slats and I'm going to be putting some finish on them. They are the slats for the berth in the main cabin.
Very good. First board fitted, Pete.
Just like that, first try too.
Oh yeah.
Fit like a glove, all done now.
Hey Richard, welcome back.
Oh, thanks, Leo. It's good to be back.
How's your month or so off been?
Well, I've turned into a transom guy around town here. I don't know why, but rebuilding transoms. So it's nice to be back here in the shop, out of the rain. You know.
Good. What are you up to now?
Well, I'm making these ceiling pieces here. Just to keep stuff, you can put stuff under the bunk without getting it trapped in behind the frames and bilge stringers and stuff, so it
Keeps it dry.
Yeah, keeps it dry, keeps it out of the falling down into the bilge, which everything ends up otherwise. So
good, very nice.
Yeah.
It's looking good.
Did you see how I measure the length of these in between the lockers?
No, I did not. I would like to.
I just got a stick here, put it on the one below it.
You get the one stick there.
Yeah, right up against the bulkhead, and this up against the bulkhead. And then mark it here, you got the length.
So you use the intersection of the two sticks to make.
Yeah, rather
Genius.
than trying to stretch a tape measure in there and screwing up, it just works every time.
And you just, wow.
I use sticks for a lot of things like that. I don't use a tape measure. I worked for a couple of years without a tape measure.
Look at that.
Look at that. It works. The patterns for the cover board are more challenging in some ways than a lot of other patterning, although it's simpler in other ways because we're able to treat the cover boards kind of as a flat surface that's going to be bent into place, where if you're shaping timber for center line, it's a lot more complex shapes that are constantly changing, opposed to laying out a pattern on a flat board and bending it into place. Luckily, we can pattern all of our cover boards to the fit deck edges that we have made square. So all of the cuts we make, for the most part, on these cover boards are square. All the nibs are square. All the caulking bevels are put on the existing planking that's already affixed to the deck. So we don't have to worry about putting caulking bevels on any of that. It's just a square flat cut. As long as we are very diligent in our patterning and cut everything very precisely to the line, things should fit, theoretically.
Great.
Hey Teak, can I tell you something?
Tell me something?
Yeah.
Can't hear anything. The music in this year, drill motors. What?
I like the cut of your jib, Teak.
Black one?
Are you just laying down?
Go downhill. Right. See.
So now that we're all back from our extensive break, our process for covering boards, we've started up at the bow, working our way back. They all get nibbed together, so scarf joints with nibs. They butt up, those nibs actually butt up to a stanchion. Each of them ends at the aft face of the stanchion. So there's 22 stanchions, I think, on both sides. So all the way through 2 inches of teak. And so those get fit. Of course, they're all at different bevels as the shear changes on the boat, the sweep of the shear. All of our stanchions are plumb. So each one has a different bevel, fore and aft, and inboard, outboard. So yeah. That's some fiddly stuff we kind of have to deal with as we're making these. Our covering boards as of now are wide. They're hanging off the side of the boat at varying different lengths depending on how wide the board actually is. That is going to get obviously trimmed down to a profile following the shape of the boat. It's going to overhang an inch or so, and it'll get a bull nose on it, a full round over to act as a rub rail or a guard. So. I just want one nice shot of the two of you together.
Aww. Are we doing a group shot?
Come on now, Pete. Give us a smile.
Let's see those teeth, Petey.
Oh, that's just beautiful, guys.
Done with those sawhorses?
No, I'm not.
I'm about to make this cut. So currently I'm working on the aftermost cover board on the starboard side. That also means that I'm working on the intersection between the camber of the deck and the rake of the transom and the cheek piece that's helping part of the transom framing and the margin board that goes up against the transom at deck level, which means, long and short, there's a lot of fits that are really finicky.
Where are you going, Zeal? And why?
Why?
When do we see you again?
I am departing the lower 48 for the wide open spaces of Alaska. I'm heading up to Bristol Bay to go fishing on the Nushagrak River. Gonna go gill netting. After the fishing season is over and I've come back to Washington and rested and recuperated sometime in August. I'm hoping to come back on the project for sure. Yeah.
These are original planking boards from Tally-Ho, 112 years old. So I've been working on getting out all these fasteners, little pieces of metal, rivets, nails, screws, all that kind of stuff so we can run it through the planer and make it look brand new. We are hoping we can use some of this wood for some decorational trim pieces and other stuff like that. It's really fun.
Cool. How's it coming out when it goes through the planer?
It's beautiful. It's really beautiful. It's gonna need a lot of bungs in it because there's all these holes for rivets and such, but it is some gorgeous wood.
Well, as you can see, the cover boards have now all been fitted, and I think you'll all agree that Zeal and Pete have both done a phenomenal job on these. They're such tricky pieces, so many angles, and the most impressive thing is that we had no timber to spare. There was no room for error here, and they managed to cut these so well and so carefully without wasting any pieces. So we're all really relieved about that. Now, they had slightly different approaches in some ways. So for example, Pete was cutting his caulking bevels into scarfs as he went along, but Zeal's been fitting some of the stanchions. They had slightly different timelines as well because Pete was away for a bit longer. There's still a lot of work left to do on these, of course. We've got to fit the rest of the stanchions. We've got to, of course, trim the outside of these to match the shape of the boat. And we're going to put a bull nose round profile on the outside overhanging edge of these. And of course, we've got to fasten them properly, bed them, seal them, and seal around the outside of the stanchions where they go through the deck. And I'm going to talk a lot more about that when it happens because that's a very vulnerable area. As you saw, Zeal has gone off fishing for the summer, but I am hoping to find someone to make up for that over the summer and maybe longer, another experienced shipwright. And in general, I'm just really pleased with the progress that's been made, and looking forward to getting these finished off, trimmed around the edges, and getting the king planks in. For now though, thanks a lot for watching, and a massive, massive thank you to everyone who has donated or otherwise supported this project. It does make a huge difference, and it means that we're able to keep doing this work, and I'm able to keep making these videos. So I really, really appreciate it. And I'll see you next time. Cheers.